Welcome to the Fantasy Football Prophet podcast, hosted by Craig Phillips and Jeff Torrey. Visit us at fantasyfootballprophet.com. And now your hosts, Craig and Jeff.
Welcome everyone to the Fantasy Football Prophet podcast. I'm Craig Phillips, joined as always by Jeff Torrey. And today we're going to continue on with our running back rankings. We're going to go 21 through 40 today. Get some of these. These are interesting spots down here. These players, I don't know where it's going to go. I haven't even looked at the list quite yet. There's not a lot of guys I love down here. They have interesting players, but we'll see where everyone falls here in just a minute. But before we do that, make sure you guys go check us out on Twitter at the FF Prophet, or Instagram, Fantasy Football Prophet, or YouTube.com/Fantasy Football Prophet. You can find some more videos there. We actually posted some new stuff now, non-podcast related. It is podcast related, but we do little shorter videos, some fantasy football myths. Go check that out. We got a couple of those. We'll have more going on as we go. And also, I'll say we also have now started a Patreon page. You guys go check us out there if you want to support the podcast. If you've been listening for a while, it's patreon.com/Fantasy Football Prophet. There's a couple different tier levels. If you want, you can just send us $1 a month to say, hey, thanks for doing the show, supporting us. We'll have different levels though, different stuff, that you can get access to, different rankings, monthly live streams, or even the big one. We started a text message number here. You can directly text us. It's one of the levels there, which is an interesting one. But if you want to check that out and see what it's all about, go to patreon.com/Fantasy Football Prophet, or, get a hold of us, message us. We can talk to you about it there too, if you guys want to support the show. And also, listener leagues, still a couple of spots left. So if you want to get in one, make sure you go to iTunes, review us, give us a 5-star, let us know you did. You'll get in one of the leagues for a chance to win the belt by Pro-Am Belts. You can see that on Instagram. We got pictures of the belt there. Go check out Pro-Am Belts. They made a really, really nice championship belt for us. I really don't want to give it up. So we need to win one of the leagues. We're in each of the league. One of us has to win it, Jeff. We can keep it for another year. And how about we go back into the rankings, though? These are probably the guys that are going to win you a league. One of these will break out and win you a league. It always happens. We're going to start off number 21. It's Alex Collins, a player that we have a pretty big difference on here. You have him 18th. I have him 25th because I don't think he's very good. I'm down to 25th on Collins now. That means he's behind a lot of different players that will come up in a minute. Even Lamar Miller he's behind, which I know you don't agree with. I just don't think he's that good. I just don't. I really don't. This is all my argument. I don't even think his numbers last year really show that he was that amazing. So I know the argument is he's the number one there. He should be, but I don't know if he is. I don't know if he's that good. I mean, I had him on my team last year. I didn't feel comfortable starting him ever. I just didn't. And that's maybe where my mindset is. I'm not a big fan of him. And I don't know if he's going to end the year as the starter. So.
Yeah, I mean, I get the hesitation with Alex Collins. Kenneth Dixon could easily come out and kind of take it over. But when he really got going, I mean, from week 5 on, he kind of had a stranglehold on there, and he was a really nice player to have. He didn't play at all week 1, and he still finished 16th. But was saying that he was very close with a bunch of other guys. Like, a touchdown difference could have dropped you 5 spots. So he was really in that mean. So I don't have an issue necessarily with you having him at 25. But as of right now, I do think he is the guy. And I don't see Kenneth Dixon really taking over completely. But maybe Alex Collins' carries do go down a bit. And I don't really like Baltimore's offense. So I'm not excited about the pick. But with the information I have, I think he's better than the 25. But I don't necessarily hate. If someone is going to drop, I kind of agree that it would be him.
Yep, and that's kind of I'm not a fan. I'm just nothing. I'm not the lowest on him though at 25. I'm go Fantasy Pros. There's a good 10 people that have him lower than I do. So
what's the highest that someone has him?
The highest he is ranked currently would be 12th.
Wow, 12th.
12th. Lowest 30th. So there's a lot of difference of opinion on Alex Collins. I'll say that. Well, let's move on to number 22 then. It's going to be Mark Ingram. And he's 23rd for me, 22nd for you. I think he's going to be great when he comes back. It's just you got to miss a few games. This could be a big steal, though. If there wasn't Kamara, though, it would even be a bigger steal. Just I'm not 100% sure how that's all going to play out this year. Can that offense keep sustaining 2 backs that are that good, in fantasy? It hasn't really happened before. So it's hard to say. But this could mean there's not a lot of risk now getting Ingram in what should be like your 3rd running back spot. So I like that a lot.
Yeah. Can you outlast the first 4 games? And if you can,
You should.
whew,
Yeah.
yeah, it's a risk reward type spot, and Mark Ingram will definitely get carries. He has been good every year, even though I feel like the Saints try to go away from him every year, and they have to come back. He's just a very solid player. So I think that it's correct in thinking that the suspension actually helps his value a bit, because I think otherwise it'd be too difficult to rank them. What are they, 4th and 6th last year?
Yeah, it's really hard.
It would have been difficult.
I don't know what I would have done with him. I probably wouldn't have drafted him in many leagues.
No, he would have been too high, right?
Yeah, I think so. So, but you can take a chance when you get down to your third running back spot in Ingram. Don't make Ingram anything better than your third. I mean, we kind of rank him as the very back end too, but I still don't want that necessarily. No, it's a risk. It's risky. So
I think it's still risky. I mean, a little bit, depending on the makeup of your team. But if you're doing a snake draft, I think depending on where he falls, he's very good value, but you might miss out on him. But where I really do like him, I think auction drafts are better than snake drafts. You can go after who you want. But I think Mark Ingram in those, because the value hit, you can build your team in a way that will allow you to withstand that 4 games, and you get this guy at a discount, especially if it's not a keeper league, or if it's not a deep keeper league where he's going to go for a premium anyway because they're not going to keep him and there's only a few guys left. But I think I would love to get him in every single auction draft I have.
And let's move on to the next guy, and that is going to be Ronald Jones. He's our 24th ranked player. My 21st, your 25th. It's just a little bit of... I put him 21st, so I put him ahead of Lamar Miller, Mark Ingram, just because I think there's in Alex Collins, because I think there's a little more upside for me. Then I don't like Ingram just because he's suspended, but Miller and Collins I obviously don't really like. So there is some upside for Jones. I don't buy into the hype when people go really crazy and put him up there, but we are actually high on him compared to what he is getting ranked right now. On Fantasy Pros, he's 28th. In ADP wise, he's going 25th. So you're right at ADP. I'm slightly ahead. But it's not like I love the guy. It's just it's more of the players around here. I'm not sold on. So he kind of moves up because there's a little bit of upside. And when I don't really care for another guy, I'll take the upside at that point. That's where I'm at with Ronald Jones. I'm just not sure about the Bucs offense though right now, especially with Winston out to start. So that's where I'm putting him.
Yeah, and I think that's the big one. I'm not really sold on Jones in general as a player. I don't necessarily get the hype jumping to the NFL. And you're right, there is no one around him. not a darn person. But I really do think that this offense, they kind of struggled at times last year, and moving the ball, running it, was not their forte by any stretch of the imagination. Every single person that tried failed miserably. I don't know if Ronald Jones is going to be any different in this situation. Not to mention you don't have Winston to start with. So I think that he's probably a fine guy to have on your team, but I wouldn't ever reach to get him because I think it's kind of a dangerous one to throw extra money at or pick him a little higher.
25th ranked guy is Dion Lewis. My 24th, your 27th. Again, we talked about last episode. We're just not sure how the Titans are going to use these guys, Derrick Henry and Dion Lewis. So that's why I don't know. Wouldn't mind him as my third running back though. That's where I think I'd feel more comfortable as my third than some people, but PPR obviously more. I don't know how this situation is going to play out. I don't at all. So I find myself missing. I don't draft him very often because I don't know what to think about the Titans offense. So we're going to have to see a little more. Hopefully we get some kind of clarification once, preseason games start. Maybe we see some kind of way they're using them, but I don't even think that's going to give us much. It's really going to be once week 1 hits, that's when we're really going to know what's going on. We're not going to know till then. And then it's kind of too late maybe.
He's always had very good yards per carry and all that, but my biggest worry about him is New England just a different beast, and the way they use him is the reason he was productive. I think he's a good athlete, don't get me wrong, but I mean, I don't know.
Right.
If you get him on a different team and you have Derrick Henry there and he starts getting hot and they aren't able to utilize him the way they did, last year in New England, we got 180 rushes and 32 catches. I don't know. Yeah. He did average 5 yards a carry, which is crazy.
He can't sustain a full workload, obviously, and he won't. That's part of it. He's not ever going to be a guy.
And I always think of him more as a pass-catching back, but he's never exceeded 36.
Yeah, I know.
So it's kind of one of those things. It is always going to be a question in my head. Am I hyping him too much? Am I not giving him enough credit? Was it New England? Like, is Derrick Henry really the steal of the draft? I do have a very difficult time with this one. I think everyone does.
I think I'm trending more towards the Derrick Henry side as we go, though.
I am too. I mean, obviously, we both have him, Derrick Henry ranked obviously higher.
I'm definitely trending more and more in the direction that Henry's going to get a lot of the work, but I don't know why. There's nothing to say that. It's just what I'm thinking, because there is nothing to go off of yet. There will be. We just don't have that information yet. Number 26 is going to be Rashad Penny. He's my 30th. Your 23rd. That's just part of these rookies that we just don't know. And there's a little bit of that Chris Carson hype right now. You hear some of that, which I don't necessarily believe either. That might just be more of a motivation tool. Who knows? This early preseason talk, you just don't know where it's coming from, why it's coming out there. Carson has looked good. It sounds like they're using him. But they drafted Rashad Penny in the first round for a reason.
Yeah.
And Chris Carson was, a 7th round pick?
Yeah.
There's a reason they knew they had Chris Carson and they still went and drafted Rashad Penny in the first round. There's a reason they did it. I still just don't buy into their offensive line being any good. And that's kind of one of my worries. And I think they're going to be down. The defense isn't as good. They're going to just rely on Russell Wilson a lot. And because of that, I'm a little hesitant. But hey, there's definitely potential there. And maybe Wilson uses them a little bit. Maybe the threat of Russell Wilson helps him along. So there's all those different ways it could go.
Yep. Right on the nose. I think the offensive line is the biggest argument there. I think he'll be the guy, but what does that really mean in Seattle?
Yeah, it's hard to say. That's another one. There's a lot. That's why these players are down where they are. These are situations that we really need to see something in preseason. We need to know see more of this to actually, make real decisions. And that's why they're kind of risked down here. Number 27, Marshawn Lynch, my 26th, your 29th. This one, again, he wasn't great last year, but he was fine. He was good. He's just good.
He beat expectation for sure.
The only hesitation I have is how much is Doug Martin going to do?
Yeah.
That's one we don't really know. If Marshawn gets a majority of the carries, he should be fine and puts him as a third running back, and you'll probably be pretty safe with him. He's just going to be safe.
He finished 19th last year. I mean, he definitely overshot, but he is 1 year older. He does have Doug Martin behind him, whatever that means, like you said. And once again, Gruden's there. I really have no idea what this offense is really going to look like. And I just tend to lean away from older backs.
Yeah, and that's kind of where I'm at with him. And then the next guy is Sony Michel. 28 for me, 28 for you. 28th overall for us.
Oh, man. Sony Michel is the shiny toy I want to get, but New England, man. You just have no idea how they're going to use a person. And Sony Michel looks so good in college. I think he could be dynamic in that New England offense, but they don't care who they use. It goes to everyone. He could be amazing. He could disappear for games at a time. And hence why he falls down here, because I think he's going to be a game time decision, for the majority of the season, because they still do have Burkhead, and he was very good when they gave him playing time. And everyone knows that Tom Brady could throw it at any time. So who knows? But I do like his ability.
Yeah.
But if he establishes himself as the number one running back, which no one has really done in New England for a while, you could technically say Blunt, but that was mostly all goal line carries a couple years ago. So you'd be kind of rewriting history, but they did take him in the first round.
So there has to be a reason for that. That's not just normal. That's not a normal thing.
And that's kind of why I'm a little more high on him, because you don't invest that, or New England doesn't, unless you really like a guy.
And early reports and observations are he looks good. He has that big playability, but he also has fumbled the ball a few times. That's where the worry was with him.
Yep.
One of the worries was fumbling problem.
That will get you benched so quick in New England.
Yep, and that's going to be part of it. And those other guys aren't going away, so that's a lot of it. Number 29, Royce Freeman, my 31st, your 26th. Again, same thing. A rookie who has some talk that the veteran is actually the starter yet. In this case, Devontae Booker, who hasn't really shown us much of anything in his chances. Freeman should overtake him, but it's not just going to be handed to him. And because of that, there's a little hesitation. And there's all these rookies. A couple of these guys aren't going to work out at all. It happens every year. There's going to be a Monty Ball, kind of a situation. One of those, or a Bishop Sankey.
Good call on the Monty Ball one. That's funny.
Remember how good he was with Denver? He was supposed to be great. It just didn't work out. There's always those guys.
And I do like Royce Freeman as a running back, I like him more than Ronald Jones for sure. And I would even say, Rashad Penny. But, I mean, that's a little unfair because I didn't get to see Rashad Penny play near as much.
Yeah.
But I think Freeman, as soon as I get the go-ahead that he is going to be the number one back, he'll jump over, 4 guys. He'll move up my list. But I'm not just going to automatically do that because we don't know what that offense is necessarily going to look like. And Devontae Booker has always been hobbled in different things. So maybe he's healthy this year. Who knows?
Yeah, you really don't. All right, number 30. It's going to be Isaiah Crowell, my 29th, your 31st. We're slightly higher on him than the average ranks, which puts him at 34th. We are a lot higher than him, than ADP, which puts him 37th. And it's just, do we think he's going to be the guy over Powell? And McGuire was an issue there, but it looks like McGuire is going to miss at least the start of the season. And they did go get Crowell. He's a young guy yet. He showed some promise 2 years ago with Cleveland. Last year, not really much, but he played for Cleveland, and they were terrible. So it's hard to say.
Will the Jets be any better?
They might not. But this is, okay, and this is going to be it's actually a tie between these two guys at 30-31. And they're kind of, it's the same boat for me. It's Crowell and Marlon Mack's the next one. It's like, if they are truly the guy, you're getting a steal as in 30th and 31st ranked guy. If they're the player and they're getting all the work all season, you're getting the steal, because otherwise you could say it's just like Paul Perkins again. We ranked Paul Perkins last year because he was the guy, right, with the Giants, and that didn't work out. That could be that situation here. Marlon Mack feels like that could be something that he could be.
Do you have Mack over Crowell?
I do,
okay,
by 2 spots, and you have him
the
spots
opposite,
below. And I think Mack has but you're probably maybe right. Mack does have a little more competition maybe than Crowell does now. Because I don't see Powell as much competition than McGuire. Mack does have Hines and Wilkins there who could do something possibly. But both of these guys, this is definitely situations to monitor how preseason's going. This is a big one. This is one thing that we might actually learn something, paying attention to training camp and preseason games. Not a lot of these situations actually matter. These two probably do. If they're running with the ones, pretty good idea that maybe we can get a steal as like a 3rd or 4th running back.
Yeah, and the great thing about these guys too is I don't think, even if you do say they're number one, I don't think that they're going to skyrocket because of their situation.
No.
So I think you can grab these guys still late, and I think they will be good value.
All right, number 32, Tevin Coleman, my 34th, your 30th. I'd never know what to do with Tevin Coleman.
He's a backup, but he's just good every year.
And that's in it. So some of that there, he does have value on his own, but his value could be great if Freeman's out.
Oh,
so
yeah.
He's one of the few that that's why he's here. And Freeman owners, this is one of those players you probably should get. It's not great. You don't want to do it.
Yeah, that's a tough one.
It's hard, but he almost has the value where you could do it. But I would say personally, I kind of stay away from Tevin Coleman a little bit. I never know what to think about him. Never know what to do. But he does deserve to be ranked here. I can't say he doesn't.
Yeah, I realized Devontae Freeman missed games last year, but he was 22nd overall.
Yeah.
I know he's a backup. He's a golden handcuff, so he goes for more. But every year, he's worth having. And you don't really know exactly how they're going to use him game in, game out, because he's the number 2. But, man, he's good.
Let's go to number 33, Kerryon Johnson. My 35th, your 32nd. It's another one of those situations. We've said it. This is what this episode is. It's rookies that we don't know what the heck is going to happen. It's so hard. That's why this is a tough spot. This is like the situations where it actually matters to pay attention. Because Kerryon Johnson, Lions drafted him in the 2nd round. They obviously want him to be the guy there. They wouldn't have done that. You just don't waste a 2nd round pick on a running back unless you plan on having him be your starter. And yes, other guys are still around. That is for sure. But I don't think, and LeGarrette Blount's there now. That's where it's going to take away some goal line work and when they just need 1 yard. Kerryon Johnson's going to get a good opportunity, but he's not going to get a workhorse opportunity. And that's where he's way down here, but he could be better than this for sure.
Yeah, and I think that's what you're looking for, right? Supposedly he is supposed to be the number 1. You're looking for people that are going to get, continuous work when you get down this low. And that's why he's here. He could be a steal, but let's be honest, Detroit was never able to move the ball the last 2 years running it. I don't know if this is going to be any different. I don't know if they really address their line as much as they need to. And it does scare me just a bit. I know you Craig, touched on it, but Blount should get goal line. He's going to be a security blanket for Matt Patricia, who came over from New England, who obviously coached blunt, so he knows exactly what he can do. So I do think it will eat into it. And then you have Theo Riddick taking away some of the pass catching ability because that's kind of his niche. So he's kind of stuck between a rock and a hard place. So I think he's more of a future pick, but you get down this low and he still has the better chance to get 10 touches a game compared to other guys.
Yeah, that's why if I'm around here, I'm probably picking him over a lot of these guys in this range. And maybe I don't have him over this next guy you do, but it's Carlos Hyde. He's 34.
Oh, man, I really struggle with this.
Yeah.
It's not 2 guys, it's 3.
Yeah.
And I really do think all 3 guys are talented.
And this is the thing, I like Carlos Hyde as a player. I really do. I just don't see any way that Nick Chubb doesn't eat into this workload. And it's a split backfield of 3 players with, those 2 and Duke Johnson. How is it not?
I was going to say, where do you have them? Because I have all 3 of them very close right now.
I have Hyde. Actually, I do.
Embarrassing close.
I do have Hyde ahead. 32nd, Chubb 36th, and Duke Johnson 42nd. So you had them with
way closer together.
Hyde 37th, Chubb 41st, or no, Duke Johnson 39th. And so you're right there.
And Chubb for 40. Yeah. Because I can easily see a situation where they trade away Hyde or try to. Because I like Chubb. I really do. I think he is just a bowling ball of muscle going down the field, and I think Duke Johnson is a perfect third down back. I think Carlos Hyde might be more talented than both of them, but he's also an older player right now that for some reason seems to get a bad rap. So
it's just, if he gets more of an opportunity, I think he's going to be good, and he actually will be of great value. That's a very real possibility. Just nothing's going to tell us that right now, and it's a big risk to try to guess that and pick that way. So let's go to number 35, Chris Thompson, my 33rd, your 38th. This is a guy, do you avoid him? I feel like I avoid him. Do you avoid him?
I know he's our 35th, but I feel like I just won't draft him in any league.
Yeah, I know.
I don't know.
I feel the same way.
PPR would be different, but in standard, there's nothing there for me. I know he should be here, but a guy I just don't draft.
That's exactly the way I feel about it. This is where he definitely belongs, but you kind of know his ceiling isn't great. That's pretty much it. And there's some other guys around here that do have a little bit more of a ceiling.
Right. And that's also both of us being high-end guys. So take that with a grain of salt.
And then number 36, CJ Anderson, my 38th, your 35th ranked player. He's going to, I think, just step into that Jonathan Stewart role and do it a little better. But he's just a perfectly fine running back. Yeah. He's fine. He's good.
I think he has enough. He has touchdown upside. Yeah. That's going to be his saving grace.
And Christian McCaffrey's not going to become a workhorse back. So saying Anderson's going to get plenty of work, but it's not going to cut into McCaffrey what he does. But Anderson could be a decent value. This is what I'm kind of just looking at. Is we don't know how the Panthers plan on using him yet. So this is one of those situations like with Hyde, with a couple of these, Crowell, Mack. These are the guys that could be good values if these teams use them a little bit more than is kind of expected at this point. So just kind of watch out for that and keep an eye on CJ Anderson because everyone just loves McCaffrey, which I get. I like McCaffrey a lot, but Anderson's kind of going to slide under the radar because of that and could be just a decent value, especially if he's like your 4th, 5th running back. It's not probably a 5th running back. It's not bad. 37, Rex Burkhead, my 41st, your 34th. You have always liked Burkhead a little bit more. There's been good talk about Burkhead so far in preseason and training camp.
I was really high on him until they drafted Sony Michel. Obviously, they're still going to use the guy, but I thought he was going to dominate the passing game. I really did. And ever since Sony Michel showed up, it's going to be more of a split. Once again, it's going to be backed by committee. I think he'll be a little up and down. He'll be hard to project, but I really like his skill set. And Sony Michel puts it on the floor. This guy is an absolute steal.
Yep. I think they're going to use him a lot in different ways. So he's going to have value. He might get a lot of touchdowns. He might just be a guy who doesn't do much and get touchdowns. He's done that before. So
but who hasn't been burnt by a New England back before?
Exactly. That's why he falls down further for me. 38 is Jamal Williams falls in here. He's my 40th. You're 36th. He gets the first crack at it.
Yeah.
With Aaron Jones out. But I'll say this. I do have Aaron Jones one spot ahead of Jamal Williams. I like Aaron Jones better as a player. Even with the suspension, I still want Aaron Jones because I just like him a little bit more.
I give you a lot of credit for sticking with it. I actually dropped him down after the suspension, being like, you have 2 games to win it. I think it's so close that I went Jamal Williams 36 and then Aaron Jones at 42 for me now. But
I'll say this, though. I'm staying away from the Green Bay back.
Yeah, I am too, because I actually don't mind Montgomery either. The 3 back committees where you truly don't have an edge, anyone has an edge, it's a guessing game.
Yep.
Like, let's not pretend it's anything else.
If anybody tries to tell you different, they're just...
Yeah, they're guessing.
Yeah, completely. Number 39, Nick Chubb. My 36th, your 41st. Again, this is... Just don't know how it's going to work with Hyde. And if Hyde's going to be the guy or if it's going to be Chubb. There's a chance for Chubb to be there. And this would be a great value pick. I just don't know. We can't say we do. This is just keep watching preseason. See how they're using these guys. The talent is there. It's just, will the opportunity be there? That is what we have to wait and see. Number 40 is Aaron Jones. My 39th, your 42nd. I love the talent with Aaron Jones. I really liked what I saw last year. Obviously, the suspension is going to hurt him to start the year. Gives Jamal Williams that first crack at the job. And Jamal Williams looked good too. And Ty Montgomery looked good too. It's hard to say which one. I'm going with Aaron Jones as my guy. But if I can get him as my 5th running back, I'll take it all day and just take a chance at it. Not good. Okay, look at the players below him then on our list. I'll just run through real quick to say who are these guys are you taking ahead of him? If there's any, Duke Johnson is our next on the list. Doug Martin, Tariq Cohen, Ty Montgomery, Devontae Booker. Right? I think Jones has the potential there out of those guys.
Yeah, I would this low. I would definitely go with the upside. And he definitely has the upside.
And that's our list. That's our top 40 because it gets ugly after that. You got Powell, Carson, Bernard, Blunt, Foreman, Clement, Theo Riddick, Frank Gore. That's all the way through 53rd. That's what I got on my list right now. It gets ugly. There's not even I don't feel like there's Foreman's a true candidate to break out, but it's going to be later in the year because of the injury. I don't think he's going to be quite back from it.
Right.
And then other than that, Corey Clement, I hear some rumblings about him, but no. JJ says he's too good.
Every once in a while, I think one of the guys that we're in the league with lives out in Chicago, so he keeps telling me all the hype about Tariq Cohen. So he's intriguing to me because I think he's a true third down back this year. But let's not go crazy. I mean, I think he's intriguing, but I have no issue with him not making the top 40.
Like we said, too, Chris Carson's down here as our 47th. I'm not quite buying into the little bit of hype you hear about him. I'm just not. He was fine last year in that little bit of stretch, but he wasn't. I don't think he was great.
No, I mean, if I'm not buying into Rashad Penny at all, I would have a hard time buying into him if I think he's going to be the number 2 back.
Yeah, and Carson's getting the first crack at it because he's not the rookie.
And once again, they have Pro Size as well. I feel like that could be a 3-back committee as well as being a bad running team. It could be the double whammy.
The Chris Carson thing, I'm just curious about. Where does this hype come from? Last year, 4 games, 6 carries for 39 yards. 20 carries, 93 yards. 11 carries, 34 yards. 12 carries, 42 yards.
I think it's Pete Carroll. Remember how hyped every running back ever gets on his team, or all these players? Last year, who was our... Who's the guy you love so much? That came from Green Bay. Lacey. Lacey got hugely hyped. Yeah. And he got hurt, but no one did well. And it just every year you're like, oh, he's in the best shape of his life. That's the issue with preseason and trying to wade through what is true and what is not. Because you're going to hear every single person is looking good. Or last year, my favorite was Hyde. About how they were thinking about cutting him, and then he's fine. He's fine, and you got him at a value. So
that's kind of. I don't. There's a lot of. He's working as a 1 right now. That's all. It's not going to last.
Who's a guy on this list that maybe that it was skewed because I had him lower, but that you think has the biggest upside in the bottom?
Well, Doug Martin actually, I had him 37th. You had him 46th.
There we go.
He would have made my top 40. I think there's something there with Doug Martin yet. I mean, I've seen
Jekyll and Hyde, but
I think so. I think there's something there with him. I really do. That's it. There's a potential for him to become a top guy, a top 20 guy. That's there. It really is. It's just, will that chance, present itself for him? That's might not happen with Marshawn Lynch there, but I think he's a good enough player. He's been in the past, unless it's just gone. It happens with running backs. Or maybe he really just can't be that guy ever again. He is 29 years old. It really might just be done. So, I don't know though. I think there's something possibly there.
Yeah, I like the ability, and he's so low that you can take a chance on him. Last question I have for you. I just wonder, because you're so against Alex Collins.
Yep.
Where does that leave Kenneth Dixon for you?
I can't remember where I put him right now. He was like about 46, but
okay. Well, that's okay.
The hamstring injury he just had is kind of worrying me a little bit
because he was hobbled all last year as well.
Yeah, so I'm a little bit worried right now because of that.
But that is definitely higher than probably most are going to have.
Very much so. Very much so. Let's see. I'm trying to find him on the list here, where people actually have placed him. I'm not even finding it right now.
Probably
59th.
59th.
Yeah, so he's 59th. That did worry me a bit hearing those reports of the hamstring, because hamstrings linger, it feels like, with these running backs too. It's never great. I'm not even the highest on him, though, looking at this. He's as high as 41st in some of the ranks. So there's other Alex Collins haters out there. Not just me. I'm not the only one. Let's see here. Yep, he's as high as 41st. Mike Wright, Fantasy Footballers, puts him 41st. I had him 45th. Yep, that's where I put him. So a little worried about the hamstring, but I think I'm going to pick him up as the last player on a lot of teams and just wait for Alex Collins' demise. So it's going to happen. But all right, I think it's going to do it for the running backs. Next week, we'll be back with wide receiver rankings as we get geared up for the season. And again, go get a review in if you want to join one of our listener leagues. Only a very few spots remain for that. If you want a chance to win the belt, go on there, go on iTunes, give us a 5-star review, and let us know. We'll talk to you guys next time.